by Dr. Rupali Basu ma'am. And may I invite the chairpersons for this session, Dr. Anuradha Ridorkar ma'am, who's a past president NOGS and a very terrific speaker, Dr. Anuradha Ridorkar ma'am, and a very marvelous speaker, Dr. Trichala Demre ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Swati. Thanks a lot. Good evening, seniors and friends. At the outset, I want to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. And it's my pride and privilege to introduce an unique medical celebrity, that to a leader celebrity. To introduce this celebrity in 2 minutes, मुझे लगता है justice नहीं होगा. But still, I will finish it up very soon. Dr. Rupali Basu hails from a city of joy, that is Kolkata. And she is a born charismatic leader, having a mixed talent of brain with beauty. Isn't it, ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, you are currently the director and the CEO of Woodland Multi-Speciality Hospital, Calcutta. You are an expert in healthcare sectors in India. You are known for pioneering work in bringing quality system and accreditation in healthcare in India. Her contribution in developing super specialty tertiary care hospital services, especially for cancer, cardiac and emergency care, is instrumental in bringing back the confidence of people in healthcare in India. Ma'am, I want a big round of applause for the ma'am, Dr. Basu, because she has done her master's degree and in healthcare and hospital management, none other than from the Harvard University and from Delhi University. She is a leader in true sense because she leads several committees like CII, BCCI, and ICC for facilitating business and economy. And you're on the board of directors of Tata Timtex. ध्यान से सुनिएगा. She is a founder, director of Bengal Fashion Heritage and a trustee of Calcutta Heritage Collective. So bringing you before none other than the leader of leaders, and we will listen from her how to have a will to win, Dr. Rupali Basu. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, Dr. Demre, for that wonderful introduction. I didn't know that so much has been sent. I'm sure my office has been working very hard. I must at the very outset must thank Vaidehi, Dr. Vaidehi Marathe, the president of NOGS and great friend. Where actually I asked her that, can I come over and chat with all of you, and she kind of so kindly agreed to have me today. Dr. Soni, I was just listening to you all through. Dr. Sengupta, Dr. Upadhyay, Dr. Jain, Dr. Ridhorkar, and of course all the delegates. I can see the number of participants, 103. So every one of you, a wonderful to be here. Thank you all very much for having me. And let's start. So I would let me just start. Let me just share my presentation.
Animation is from the beginning.
Is it visible? I think the
Yes, visible.
Okay. So leadership is difficult. I think it's a very, very difficult task to lead any organization for that matter. And hospitals and healthcare organizations are, I think, the most difficult as an organization. So leading a healthcare organization is difficult. But if we look at that why it is difficult, then we can get into a few more nitty-gritties of it. The types of healthcare organizations we have. Smallest unit is that our clinics, and then from the clinics we have nursing homes, we have hospitals, we have medical colleges, we have very large hospitals, we have medium-sized hospitals, we have corporate hospitals and trust hospitals and companies and all that. It's a huge types of organizations are different. Then we have, of course, 10,000 over diseases. We have so many categories of people, starting from the doctors to the who comes from the highest level of economic strata to the lowest level of economic strata in our country. Unfortunately, we still don't have everybody at the same level. So you have different kinds of people coming from different upbringing. You have different kinds of shifts because you have to run 24/7, 365 days. You have so many types of billing codes in private hospitals. We do, service codes, even in the government hospitals we do have. And if you compare the number of codes that you have, you would be having more than 4,000, 5,000 codes, which means that if it's a FMCG company with 100 products, they are said they're very large organizations. And with you, we have more than 4,000. So it is actually a very complex organization, complex ecosystem. And it is not possible for any one person to really do a very decent job. And that's how we see that the results of the healthcare organizations, we see the results of these organizations, that all the time they're not really perfect. We are far off from really a perfect organization, although we are all would like to run perfect organizations, perfect clinics, perfect hospitals, but we are far from it. We are all academics, but we really, in reality, I don't think we are operating very perfect organizations. Okay, I'm not talking about that perfect means that there'll be no errors and there'll be no diseases, no complications, and no mistakes. It's not true. I think the medication errors or the errors in hospitals are the largest number of errors in any organization if you look at individually from one sector to sector, from health to airline or things like that. So there are things will happen, negligent acts will happen, there will be errors will happen, but that doesn't mean that the complication, the complexity of the organizations are difficult, are different. So we have, what I'm trying to establish here is that we run difficult organizations, and naturally the results are also different for all of us, and they do differ from place to place. They differ from we have not nowhere near reached the near perfect organizations. And naturally the leadership is also becomes challenging and becomes difficult. How difficult it is, we just kind of, I'll just maybe give you a little glimpses on how the leadership styles are. If you go to leadership in any of the net, you'll find that there will be leadership styles, like directing type, who directs and tells people what to do, or coaching type, you'll coach along with them. Coach, the meanings, the words are very simple, so you'll be able to really relate to them. You support or you delegate. So these are the kind of styles of leadership they say available in when you read management. Uh, Before going into how what my leadership is, I think what I do is I kind of try to put all those four types in one style. I think that multi-style leadership is what is necessary in a hospital complex organization. I think we need to show our directive roles, our coaching roles, our supportive roles, and our delegating roles very equally. May not be all the time equally, like a 25% each, or it all the time same division, same ratios, but they are very important to have all these styles of leadership in one person. And that's what I think I have done. I've studied hospital management when it was not even been thought through. When I was doing my house job, like all of you in gynae and obstetrics, we used to do our kind of deliveries, 40 deliveries a day. I have delivered a baby in a bus and a road and lift and whatnot. When we used to be very, very busy in a government hospital, RG Kar Medical College, where I graduated, we had very busy days, and we did work a lot. But then when we were supposed to do our post graduation, I started feeling myself that, I need to do something to run these hospitals well. And somehow I don't know why it has come to me that I need to do that, in spite of doing a Unit 1, with our head of the department, and very, 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 very nice, and very fulfilling house chapship. I could have gone into doing my DGO and MD, but I went into searching for what should I do if I have to do an hospital manager. And that was in 1991. I don't think that there was any organization, 1990 actually. And I was being told that go and study in Aldin Institute of Hygiene and Public Health. That's the place where you become an expert in public health. You make policies, you do admin. I still don't like that word administration, because that's that's very, in a way, that's much smaller than the management. And we do a large number of activities. So I was being told to go to All India Institute of Hygiene, where I went. I did my diploma in mother and child welfare, DMCW, and then of course topped the university. Got chance in MDPSM, but didn't do it because I got a job at that same time and went into a work in a private organization. I also chose that maybe I'm a product of a government hospital, a public hospital, but I will work in the private setup, because I kind of was understanding that my standards are very particular. I have to do this way and I cannot do it the other way. And I have to, I have to be in an organization which I can control fully. And I thought that the private sector would be the right place to move on. And that's what I started. And I remember when I started working in Marie Stopes clinics, which was Parivar Seva Sanstha. And I used to do a lot of, 4 years, I think 4.5 years I worked there. And we used to do reproductive health clinics. And I first started learning using the Karman cannula at that time. And I used to say that, okay, I do MTPs, I do the best possible way. I do the best MTPs in the city, in the country. I do it the best way, because we never were taught about the plastic Karman cannulas which were imported from London for using in our reproductive health clinics. And I studied counseling forms, 4-pager consent forms back there at that time, because the world outside of our country actually moved ahead, much moved ahead. And that time the differences were much higher. We never thought of those kind of consent forms, explanation, awareness, counseling, financial counseling were not even heard of. We were still talking about casualty. And I think, as nomenclature, it has been changed to emergency rooms. So I think we kind of moved into those standards of and how do I say, very driven kind of a person when I started my work. And of course, during the course of my journey, my work, I have studied several management courses, and have been fortunate to lead hospitals, very large hospitals, for the last 30 years. So that makes me in 2002, when the first concept we were sent to Harvard, because the US systems is supposed to be, at those days, today we know that we have a mix of systems and we have many good things in our country too. But in those days we were following the Joint Commission, and I think the quality systems were taught, we were not even there in our country. And why do I say so? We studied, we brought back, and JCI was actually, Joint Commission International actually is a quality accreditation system which governs all 100% of the hospitals in US. And it runs through medical aspects and non-medical aspects of the organization. It runs through 14 modules, and there were some 1163 indicators that you manage every day to see that your organizations are working well. So when we brought back that knowledge, we were a team of 9 people were sent by my then employer, Wokhad Hospitals. And we came back with the knowledge, and we did had the first, of course, Apollo Group also started working, because they understood we were working, and it is a competitive world, and it should be. And we did study, and 2005, the first JCI accredited hospital came up as Indraprastha Apollo Hospital in June 2005, and Same year in December, the Wokat Mulund Hospital, Bombay Hospital became JCI accredited. Then we created the base document for the Government of India, and the NABH was done in 2007. We only submitted those documents to the Government of India. That's why I have a lot of work which I have done so many years. Today I say that I'm kind of retired, but managing one hospital, but I have been working in this area for a long time. Coming back to the leadership styles, I think the it's necessary to have a multi-style leadership. You have the culture of an organization has to be always top down. We do experiment, we do our ways of doing things, our way of talking, the way we present ourselves, the way we do our things, I think is, and the way we speak, the way we behave, is the way the organization culture happens. So the culture is always top down. You have a organized, very tight organogram, which is the board of directors and the CEO, and you have your layers of the HOD, particle heads and HODs and departmental heads, because you have very large number of departments in a hospital, and culture always have to come top down. The activities has to be bottom up. You need to take everybody into the consideration, every category of people, be the lowest the level of the staff that you have. The quality, of course, goes up and down in the quality systems. The feedback has to be from everywhere, from both sides and top and down. So that's how I kind of divide the organization in that way. The leadership has to actually see everything. Now, in a smaller hospital, when you can actually see the back wall, these are very important, very easy to do. Comparatively not very easy, I would say. I have said that leadership is difficult, so comparatively easy to do when you have a larger hospital, when you can't really see the back wall. And then you have the entire management goes into analysis of reports, dashboards, and a lot of working analytical work goes in to do your decision making. So the decision making or leadership in a smaller organization varies from a bigger organization, that we talked about earlier. I'm saying it again. So I definitely think that the organization as a whole is important when we are looking at leadership. I think the current era, which is last 8 months or 9 months, I think COVID has changed a lot. And actually, it has changed everything when you are actually looking at leadership. Our thoughts are challenged, our way of doing things are challenged. I think everything is being challenged in this era, and we have seen how many of senior doctors we have lost, how many of our doctors were scared, didn't even come to the hospital, how many of us actually took the plunge and did the care at the floor level, how we have fared. We had really the pandemic has shown us, I think, has put us all back to our boardrooms, back to our offices and chambers and study areas. That how things can take in such how things can take a shape which will change the shape of our life. And it is that is how it has happened. And I do a lot of thinking, I have done a lot of thinking, and I think that there are the next normal. I'm not saying any more new normal. I'm saying the next normal elements will have to have many new changes. The hospital designs will change, the quality processes and the all your manuals, SOPs, all will change. The clinical management, the way you do your standard treatment guidelines will change. The outlook of the authorities are changing. You look at the way health is a state subject. We are under the state governments, but there is also a role of the central government. And just look at the way the thought processes are. They have divided our thoughts. We may be thinking right, we may not be thinking right, but it is the outlook of authority is changing. It's coming into our lives now, the way we operate. And we have to be very, very aware that what we are going to do, how we are going to take up our institutions. So, and how do what is this will to win? How do you really do this killer instinct or the fire in the belly, and how do you win? As doctors, I think we are all in that strata, we come from an academic background. We study a lot. We have a lot of qualities that we do possess, but still we can create an acronym, which I create most of the time. We have created acronyms when doing our studies. We do it even now. I think intelligence, the first I, or the technical knowledge. The second I is integrity, unquestionable, uh, not changeable. uh, Focus, unhindered focus. Energy, and today I have added an R, which is resilience. When you fall, the ability to come back. When you fall, you just don't fall and be there. Don't be depressed. Don't be sitting. There are ways to. This a skill which is pulling us back to do our job better. And we have huge responsibilities, all of us, to have, not only at homes but in our workplaces and as professionals. So I think IIFER is kind of a 5-lettered acronym which I use for giving this leadership a shape. Um, this is how I think is the focus always remains. I always, the biggest, I think, the quote which I have always used is, "Be the change you would like to see in the world," of Mahatma Gandhi's. The focus is always on you. Focus is never on others. The focus is on you because we want to be good to others. I think it's very, very important that we need to be sensitive to others. Many a times on our work ways, we kind of try to do things very, very selfishly. And I think that's, as a human being point of view, is not really the right way. I think we need to be sensitive about others, sensitive about families, sensitive about the society, the community, and have to do our things thinking about all of them. So the focus is always at yourself. The thumb is always the pointing towards you. I think that's the rule which I have done always. I do a feedback every day, every day. I don't know. That's too hard on myself. That's what my friends say, that you are just too hard. You've done enough, but why you have to be so hard? But I am hard. I'm very hard on myself. My husband is a behavioral scientist, maybe because of that. He kind of gives me a feedback almost every day. That and whatever I do, it's like I kind of see through what things I have done, what things I have said, or what are the things that I have worked on, and I will look through all that every day and see that if there's any ways I can do myself better. Um, that's the feedback. I'm hard on myself, and I continue to do so. I don't expect that all of you do that all the time, but I think in our management we do appraisals every year, and actually we do twice in a year, 6 months and 1 year. So I would like all of us empanelments in the hospitals are done every year, but I think it can be done more frequently. And instances of being insensitivity, or incidences of being that I could have done better, I could have said better, are always the feedback towards yourself is always, I think, is important to go ahead to do and to experiment. And I think that is what I would like to say today. You can keep on talking about leadership, but it's all about what you bring into the table, how you look through your people, how you look through your colleagues, how tight your organization is, and how tough you are on yourself, how high your standards are, and how you're measuring the quality of your work. So I would just, recite from Rabindranath Tagore's one little para. The poem is called, it's in Bengali, and the poem is called Dushamoy, which means bad times. যদিও সন্ধ্যা আসিছে মন্দ মন্থরে, সব সঙ্গীত গেছে ইঙ্গিতে থামিয়া। যদিও সঙ্গী নাহি অনন্ত অম্বরে, যদিও ক্লান্তি আসিছে অঙ্গে নামিয়া। মহা আশঙ্কা জপিছে মৌন মন্তরে, দিক দিগন্ত অবগুণ্ঠনে ঢাকা। তবু বিহঙ্গ, ওরে বিহঙ্গ মোর, এখনই অন্ধ বন্ধ করো না পাখা। Which means that we need to fly, we need to keep flying. And even if the bad times are there, even if we have difficulties in our lives, we still have to fly, and we have to keep flying. Thank you all very much for having me again. And whether I don't know whether I've been able to put through any thoughts to all of you, but if I have been able to, I will be very happy. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
So if you can just stop, Sharia. Thank you so much. The compliments have already started flowing in for you, Rupali. So
What?
I think I'll first request the chairpersons to give their remarks, please. Over to you, Anuradha.
It was really, really a treat to listen to Dr. Rupali Basu. And I really appreciate, a single word which I appreciate from her talk is a multi-style leadership. Simply amazing. A person shifting from doing MD and doing 40 deliveries to choosing a different path itself shows a leader inside her. Her acronym IIFER is just wonderful. And her last message is keep flying. So I'm sure in this Corona time, we will fly over and we will overcome this time. Thank you, Dr. Basu, once again for a wonderful talk.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Anuradha. Thank you so much. Thank you.
If there are any questions, we can take them up. Dr. Rupali will be happy to answer them. So tell anyone, how do you handle the class 3, class 4? I thought my patience simply runs out when I deal with them. How do you do that? How do you handle them?
So it's a very difficult category of people because of the simple reason, as I said, that they come from a different strata where the upbringing is very different and they don't understand the language which we talk. So in my new hospital, we have in this hospital, which is about 1.5 years I'm working, although the hospital is the oldest private hospital, I think it's 75-year-old. We have 2 strong unions, and it's so very difficult to, they will compete with you all the time. They will say no, they will make it most difficult to listen. And it is tough. But I think the way to answer you is, we have to be very strategic in handling juniors, especially if you have unions. You have to do your relationship from top down. I have to know the chief minister and then the ministers and the presidents of the union, keep talking and then keep talking here. So there are a lot of levels I'm working now, and it will not be done just like that. It will take time to kind of do those strategic movements and then go. Even in a smaller institutions like nursing homes or smaller hospitals where you have maybe a group of maybe 20 or 30, I think understanding them is very important. Getting to know where from they are coming in and go individual. I think you have to go individual, understand what they're doing, and then put them into some kind of a structure. Saying no, it's difficult, but the answer to it is that you have to understand them, put them into structure. I think structures are very important, and small organizations, we don't do those structures so well because we can just get the things done by just telling them that do this. So we don't follow the structure ourselves. So if you do an organogram, if you try to do the role playing, create those levels, it's very important. Like this organization had a very horizontal organogram. The CEO is on top and everybody reports to the fellow. The 1,000 people can reach that person. I don't do that. So I have created anybody can't come into I am a very open door kind of person, but at the same time, when you are coming across to me, there are levels. So the junior most will have a supervisor, then there is an HOD, then there is a divisional head or a vertical head, and then the CEO. So those processes, daily charts, daily when they have to do checklists, dashboards, white collar stuff will have to be given different things. The grade 4 stuff will have to be given different things. And then I think, you have to constantly be correct in doing things. I think we should not also, many a times we do wrong things at times. That also is not done. So we need to be fair and constantly keep at it. I'm sure the organization will be such a strong one that you'll have no problem at all.
Yeah. But you work in a big corporate setup, and most of us do have our small hospital units, maybe 10-bedded, 15-bedded small hospital. यहाँ पे हम ही sweeper है, हम ही carpenter है, हम ही house officer है, हम ही patient को shift करे. So everything is being done majorly by us, So many things that like you told me about the organogram, it's so much applicable to you, not to us, because it's just us and the staff, the core staff. So it becomes, I feel sometimes really difficult to deal with them, especially with their IQ and our IQ simply doesn't match, and they don't understand what you're trying to tell them. And then maybe some tips, on how do you handle them in front of the patient. Maybe you are in a corporate setup, so you don't really have to come to them face to face like that. But for us, if I'm taking my rounds and if I find something wrong, I really have to hold on to my patients, not to scold them in front of the patients.
Absolutely.
Setting the small tips that I think we need as a leader, of the organization, whichever the small ones that we have, to create a good a strong organization in front of the patients. They don't get an impression that or also their dignity has to be maintained in front of the patient. So something, if you can guide us on that in managing small hospitals.
But by the way, I distinctly think that even in a small organization, you can do the role clarity. Who will do what? And
Correct.
what you go into analytical mode and see that what is this I need from. Sometimes we are to be questioned because we don't know exactly what we want. And then we
Correct.
don't train them well. And then you are scolding in front of everyone, as you are saying. So then if you are putting in a porter boy into doing many things, then you need to also tell that boy that transport is as important as giving a plate of food. So the presentation you want in a particular presentation, but at the same time they're not trained. So I think training is very important. And also, as you said, the respect for each of the areas are important. And simple things like giving them uniforms, telling them that this is the ID cards coming into this time, that improve their respect in a different manner, and give
Very
them
right.
jobs and see that every minute there is something to be done. They should not sit idle. That's important. The cameras everywhere. You need to have cameras everywhere. You need to, those kind of things I think is important to have even in a smaller organization. We have to
Yes.
spend little money in, and I think technologically, that ID card there should be a machine which will take their attendance, their leaves, how do you give them. If you organize all those like the big organization and bring those things into a small little manner in the smaller organization, I think it will be much better organized and managed better. That's what I
Yes.
feel.
Absolutely. I agree. Yep. Uh, I don't think so. No more questions actually, and I'm so glad, Rupali, that we had you today for this talk on leadership. You are the right person for this topic, and I've been, kind of. I'm your follower. You can say we are all on one good platform where we have common love for saris and jewelry. But
Yes.
we have come to know another dimension of your personality on the platform. That's how we had you with us today. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Rajiv Dhal is asking you if you arrange for soft skill courses for the staff. Do you arrange for your staff some soft skill
We do.
courses?
We do have a very robust HR system. We also part of a group, so there are things to be done there. But there are soft skill, there are organization which will. This depends on every organization to organization. It is a must. It has to be done. But I think it depends on your organization. And I don't know, Dr. Rajiv, that how big is your organization, how many people you are looking at, but it should be done. I think the training of soft skill training of how they say, how groomed they are, shave karke aana hai, uniform pehna hai, baat karna hai in a certain way. I think it's very, very important.
Yeah, especially communication skills. I think we need to really train them on this aspect.
Behavior, communication, grooming, all.
Yes, very right. Absolutely.
And service with a smile, all the time we keep
I'll-
teaching them that,
yes,
this is smile karo, don't do those faces. And we also have to do the same. So that's how.
absolutely. Always with a smile. I always tell my the front desk staff, the first impression is the last impression. So that's for you. So how you greet our patients and how do you present yourself really makes a lot of difference. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rupali. That was really very
Most
valuable
welcome.
for all of us.
Most welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you
Over to you,
very much for
Rajasi.
having me. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
our honor, Dr. Rupali, really our honor and pleasure both. Thank you so much once again. Over to you, Rajasi.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yep.
Yeah, great. It was an extremely wonderful dual session, I must say. I mean, we are meeting post installation. This was our first DGOGAN after the installation, and it has been as wonderful, as satisfying, and successful as always. So I really appreciate all the people who have been a part of this whole evening today. First and foremost, my utmost thanks to Dr. Anju Soni ma'am, Chairperson HIV/AIDS Committee (FOXY), for so lucidly telling us the clinical details about an entity which arises the first feeling of panic. A post-exposure is the only thing a person feels, howsoever we may be well versed with HIV, is panic. But Madam, in her cool, commanding way, has taught us everything about how to manage post-exposure prophylaxis, and I think it will go a long way in helping us relax and successfully manage HIV patients. Thank you so much, Dr. Soni ma'am. Really appreciate your inputs. And secondly, I must thank Dr. Rupali Basu. What a fantastic power woman. I must say she is the discovery this year. This special thanks should go to our president, Dr. Vaidehi ma'am, who actually met her on the power group of doctors and saris.
Yes.
So it's amazing how their friendship has struck a perfect chord, and we got to hear a superb lecture today on such a wonderful topic as leadership. Thank you so much, ma'am. You, in a very distinctive style, you have put forth what leadership actually means in today's reference to context. Really appreciate all your efforts. Thank you so much. My special thanks to all the chairpersons for the evening, Dr. Sheila Jain, Dr. Jayashri Upadhyay, Dr. Anuradha Ridorkar, and Dr. Trishila Demre. I must say special inputs by Lakshmi Shrikhande madam. Thank you so much, ma'am. You have always been a guiding source for us, and your inputs are always valuable and welcome. Thank you very much. I must thank Swati for smoothly conducting the session as always. Really appreciate Swati. You have been a technical major support for all our CMEs always. Dear friends, I have added the phone numbers in the chat box for those who wish to seek our ICOG credit points, as well as those who wish to seek notifications of our future CMEs. So please note these numbers. Thank you, Swati, for sharing the screen. Yeah, thank you, Swati. Right now, friends, on your screen are the two numbers for ICOG points notification. Today's CME has been granted one ICOG point, and those of you who wish to seek this point, please send us your name, registration number, email address, and mobile number to any one of these numbers. You may take a screenshot or you may note down these numbers. And the second slide, please, Swati. Thank you. Here, this, dear friends, is our NOGS office number. So if you wish to seek notifications of our future CMEs, please send us your name and mobile number on this number. We shall add you to our broadcast list and shall notify you of our future CMEs. It has been a wonderful evening, and I cannot thank our audience and participants for logging in as always and being with us, supporting us always. So thank you so much to everybody. And with these words, I would like to sign out. Have a good evening. Stay tuned with the GeoGyan always. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anju ma'am and Dr. Rupali.
Thank you, Vadi.
Great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do stay back for a picture because I couldn't find Swati that time. And Anju ma'am, Rupali ma'am, Swati, Trishila, chairperson sab hai, Sheila. I need a picture with all of you. Anuradha, सब लोग एक बार वीडियो ऑन कर दो प्लीज. So सबको पिन कर लेंगे. You're already pinned. You're there. Swati hai. 1 minute. I'm just adding the pin. Yeah. Trishila, Sheila. कौन रह गया रे? Anuradha, can you find her? I can't find her.
I think she's left.
जयू भी नहीं दिख रही है ना?
नहीं मैम. शीला
तो
मैम.
just check कर ले. या शीला को ऐड कर दिया मैंने पिन में. So we can just take a group picture quickly.
मैम
लक्ष्मी भी
अनुराधा
लॉग आउट हो गई क्या? मुझे दिख नहीं रही है. Can you add स्वाति? स्वाति तू ऐड कर सकती है क्या? मुझे दिख नहीं रही है यहाँ पर.
नहीं मैम है ही नहीं. वो लोग लॉग आउट हो गए. साइन आउट हो गए.
Okay, so let's take a picture. Say cheese.
नहीं मैम. लक्ष्मी मैम भी नहीं है. Yes.
लक्ष्मी मैम है? लक्ष्मी है?
नहीं है मैम.
Okay.
नहीं है. नहीं
fine.
है.
All right. So say cheese. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
just paste the picture once again then. Yeah.
Wonderful talk, Rupali ma'am. It was very nice.
Thanks, Swati. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Dr.
You must have found a lot of
Dr.
DNS
Soni.
friends today, huh, with you.
Acha, okay, I'll have to.
Ankita was there,
I'll
Pragati
find-
was there.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Ankita, of course, wrote to me. Yes, she wrote to me. Yes. Pragati's name I also saw. Yeah.
Yeah, she was there. Even Ankita.
Okay. Oh, wonderful.
Dr.
Yes.
Rupali,
Yes, Dr. Trishala.
it was very difficult to introduce you. I have left almost half of the things, and I was so impressed with your personality. आपका जब से फोटो देखा है ना मैम, तब से मुझे ना बनाना ही बंद कर दिया.
You must follow her, Trishula.
Yes.
Amazed to know her different aspects of her personality. Amazed.
आपके लिए तो वही है, तारीफ करूं क्या उसकी जिसने तुम्हें बनाया.
Oh God, thank you.
you.
So kind of you.
Yes.
So kind of you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'll just taking leave from all of you. Thank you so much
Thank
once
you so
again.
much. Yes. Thank you so much, Rupali. Bye bye. See you
Thank
soon.
you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. चलो time to log out.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
पहुंच गई तो फटाफट.
I was on the way. मुझे लगा नहीं था इतना जल्दी हो
और
जाएगा,
तुम्हें तो
मैम.
दिख नहीं रही है, तो स्क्रीन शेयर भी कर रही थी, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा है, दिख भी नहीं रही है, स्क्रीन शेयर कैसे कर रही है.
वीडियो ऑफ था. वीडियो ऑफ था.
Okay,
I was logged
क्योंकि
in.
मैंने एक बार मैंने पिन करने के बाद आई कुडंट फाइंड मेनी ऑफ यू, कि वो पिन करने के बाद वो सब चले जाते हैं ना व्यू से. That is why. चलो ठीक है. ओके
ओके, बाय.
ऑलराइट, तो रुक जा, अपन दोनों का भी एक ले ही लेते हैं. डन.
Thank you,
मुझे
ma'am.
कैसे आया, रुक जा. या अच्छा आया. अरे ये चश्मे में बहुत ही आया, रुक जा. ओके रेडी. ओके लेट मी चेक. अरे मेरे चश्मा ना बहुत रिफ्लेक्शन देता है.
ग्लेयर आ रहा है.
बहुत
ग्लेयर आ
सारा.
रहा है.
लेट मी चेक. या बेटर थोड़ा सा. चलो बाय
ओके, बाय मैम, बाय.
बाय बाय.